Hello, boyos. Welcome to the MCU Countdown, is what I'm going to be calling it. It's a spoiler cast where we go through all of the Marvel movies one at a time, put out an episode for each movie, and we rate it amongst the other ones. And just kind of give our information about it. This is a spoiler cast via the Loner Cast, and welcome. We watched Captain America and the Winter Soldier on Saturday. Yes. We went over to your pop's place and we watched Captain America, and he fell asleep at the first hour. It was fantastic.
Yeah, he did.
He was sticking with it, and it seemed like he was interested. And then the next thing I noticed, he's just like,
he's old. Give him a break.
It's fine. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Sexually.
Sweet man.
Sweet big teddy bear man. Anyway, Captain America, Winter Soldier. Fantastic movie.
Agreed.
I've seen it once, and I thought, it's okay. Comparing it to what we have seen recently, it's fantastic. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah, compared to the last two movies, what did we watch? We watched
Dark World was one of them.
And Iron Man.
Shang-Chi.
And Iron Man 3, right?
And Iron Man 3.
Yeah. And Iron Man 3 and Dark World, not good movies. Well, they're like fine. But this movie's really, really fucking good. I liked it for the most part. I think the third act, it kind of falls apart a little bit.
I would agree.
With the big like ships in the air. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. It didn't need to go there. I get it. They wanted it to be like a big action spectacle sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I remember seeing this in theaters, and this was like the because I remember going into the theater thinking like, who gives a fuck about Captain America? What a fucking loser. And then I watched this movie and I'm like, he's the best character. He's the best one. He's the best.
The first Avenger was a great movie. Albeit like Bucky wasn't very like prominent in it. You know, but it's just like, oh, his friend died. Oh, well. And then in this movie, they're like, oh, but he's like a bigger part. And it's supposed to be like a crazy reveal. And you're like, I don't recognize this guy. Who is this guy?
He was kind of a big part of the first movie. I mean, he tries to get him the date. And
yeah. But he looks nothing like the Winter Soldier. You know, he's all clean cut. And then the Winter Soldier looks like an emo kid. So it's like.
He does. He looks like a.
I mean, he looks great.
Yeah.
He looks great. I dig the style, but also it's like I don't recognize him, especially when his hair is like in his face, and then Cap's like, Bucky.
He would recognize.
How the fuck can you tell?
He would recognize.
How can you tell?
I think if I saw you and you were like bald, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's Nick. You know, I'd know.
Yeah, true.
You know,
but I did read somewhere that Captain America has like that photo memory where if you tell him something, he remembers it, or he sees something, he remembers it.
Is that true for the MCU though?
I do not know.
Because like he has the list of like things he needs to listen to. But
yeah, he has the list.
Yeah, he keeps a list because remember he's like, you need to listen to Marvin Gaye or whatever.
Yeah. That's true. He does have the list, so it might not actually be.
But I did find it funny. There's that scene where Natasha and Cap are chilling in the brain of the scientist guy.
Yeah, which is kind of weird.
I loved it though.
It's a weird part of the movie because he's just like, yeah, this is me. I'm still alive. It's very Black Mirror.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what if I just took my conscience and put it into a computer from the 60s? Like, okay.
It's pretty cool though. I liked it. But like they're in there and she makes like a Saw reference and he's like, yeah, I've seen it. It's like, you saw Saw?
Yeah,
like, what the fuck?
That's
Captain America Saw?
Yeah. I'm sure somebody. There's also that deleted
that probably
scene
blew
that
his fucking mind, dude.
Yeah.
As a guy from the 40s watching Saw, that had to have been fucking insane.
I'm sure it was like after he learned of a couple of other things like the internet and stuff like that. Like there's that deleted scene that you sent me via TikTok where he's like so alone and he just decides to sit at this cafe and this lady's just like,
Yeah, that's from Avengers.
oh, it's from Avengers?
Yeah. It's got Ashley Johnson who plays Ellie. Because remember, Ashley Johnson is in Avengers.
Right.
She's like the reporter lady.
Right at the end, and she's like, she saved me, and then that never happened. Yeah, so that deleted scene is really cool because it's like it shows how lonely he is and like how off put he is from just the fact that he doesn't know anything about, like, he's stuck in a time that he has no idea how it got there, which is kind of interesting. I wish they kept that in the movie.
It's good they didn't do the romance bit in Avengers, though, because a big part of this movie is about him, like, because
dating.
Like, yeah, Natasha is like, you got to go out with someone, and he's like, I don't know. And then there's like the scene where he meets up with Peggy, like old ass Peggy who has dementia, and he's like, you're my best gal, and you're like, oh fuck, man, that's so sad. That's so sad. Yeah, this movie's really good.
She fucked another dude, though.
I mean, he died, Yeah,
but yeah, that's true.
He was dead.
But, they fondued.
And also, like, yeah, what a callback. Also, like, they just like kissed one time, like,
yeah, I mean, it's hardly a. That's true. Like, they only kissed when he's like jumping onto that big ass plane.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. Like, that was so strange.
But it is confirmed that he fucks in this movie because Natasha is like, because they go to the mall and they have to like blend in and they kiss each other, and to blend in because public displays of affection make people uncomfortable. And she's like, "Was that your first kiss since 1945?" He's like, "Nah. Fuck no, dude. I fuck."
I fuck. Yeah.
Word for word. That is not a paraphrase. He actually says that in the movie, which I thought was wild for Disney, but
it was
they went
wild.
there.
They used the only fuck that they could.
I remember seeing this movie, like, the first time I saw it. I remember, like, there being a really heavy-handed, like, romance, or, like, they were trying to build some sort of romance between Captain America and Natasha, and upon second viewing, that is totally not the case at all. They're totally just like homies. They have a little bit of like some sexual tension, but not really.
Who are we? I zoned out for the who we were talking about.
Between Natasha and Cap.
Really? I didn't get that because I think Cap just like, you're not my type.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I remember upon my first viewing thinking
that. Oh, okay.
But upon my second viewing, I'm like, no, that's not the case at all. Like, there wasn't really. There's just like a little bit of sexual tension there, but like that's probably just normal for two really hot people hanging out, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she seems kind of like a wingman, or like she would be a wingman in this movie, because she's like, you should go out with this person, and he's like,
yeah. There was definitely more tension between her and Tony than her and Cap.
Well, even in there was
was some serious tension between her and Hulk when Hulk was chasing her down.
Yeah, trying to kill her. Absolutely, yeah. The chemistry there.
But I like them together in this movie, though. Like, the two of them work well together because he's like super serious and she's like, hey man, stop being so serious. Like, we got to break the rules sometimes. And I like to see like the progression of Steve in this movie, because like in the first movie, he's like, I will die and do anything for this country. And in this movie, Steve is like, I don't know,
to protect people. Yeah,
he's like, I don't know if like I can even trust the country right now. So yeah, I'm more concerned in protecting people than like working for the government.
Right, and that goes on into Civil War too. Like, that's a huge part of Civil War, because everybody's like, we have to do what the government says, and Steve's like, no, we don't.
Yeah, Steve is based and blue pilled.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. But yeah, the when we also figure out how fucking Falcon gets his shit.
Yeah,
apparently it's just kind of like I remember asking this when we were going through Falcon and
Winter
with the
Soldier.
Winter Soldier. And it was just like, how the hell do we know Falcon? How did he get his powers, or not his powers, but like his suit, and how does he like fit into this whole thing? And this movie explains it. He like knows Steve because he's just jogging next to Steve, and
On your
Steve
left.
just passes him every day on your left, on your left, on your left. And then towards the end, where he's like, you guys are in trouble, I'm gonna help you, he's just like, by the way, the government also gave me this really cool wingsuit that I flew.
Yeah, and then they're like, we need to go steal it. We need to go steal it. And then they don't even show them stealing it. It's just like, yeah, they could do that, no problem.
Yeah, they steal this highly classified, I'm sure, piece of technology. But then they show like how Cap gets his uniform for the final fight.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of uniforms, I like his new uniform in this movie. I think it looks really cool. I like the doled out shield. I think it looks really cool. Like it suits it so well because like this movie is all about like espionage, and it's almost like a spy thriller like movie. Like it starts like Metal Gear almost, where they're like on the boat and he's sneaking through killing all these people.
Dude, yeah, that opening scene really reminds me of like Call of Duty 4, the very opening mission of Call of Duty 4, where you're like coming down onto the container ship and you're killing all of the Russians or whatever they are. I don't remember. No, they're some sort of like Middle Eastern terrorist group or something. And it's just like, wow, this is pretty much it. It's just like sneaking onto this ship, taking out evil guys, and then getting the hell out of there. And it just felt like wet work from Call of Duty. I'm like, this is straight up Call of Duty. It's awesome.
It's yeah, all the action pieces are really, really cool. Like the infamous one where they're on the what's it called? The elevator.
Oh yeah.
He's like, anyone want to get off? And then he just fucking mows down all these people. But it wasn't just like he just beat them all. There was also like magnets and shit. And
yeah.
Like,
he was definitely being like restrained, but like he doesn't kill any of them.
True.
But that we know of, because like that one guy who gets in, like the main guy, the Hydra guy who like talks to him, gets beat the hell up, and then he like jumps out of the elevator and stuff, and then we see him again fighting Falcon, and then a building crushes him. Literally building crushes him, and in the final scene we see that same guy burnt up, crushed, being taken to the hospital or something.
I can't remember if he comes back or not.
I don't think he does. I don't remember him.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's
maybe he comes back in Civil War. I don't fucking remember.
That dude has been through some shit. That Hydra dude. He might come back. Yeah, he might come back in Civil War because that one has Hydra in it too, doesn't it?
I think so. I don't know. As much as I like Civil War, I don't remember it too well. I just remember like the big set pieces from Civil War, but like you know. And this movie has tons of good set pieces. Like one of them, like I didn't remember at all, but it was like a really awesome scene. Was when Nick Fury is in his like indestructible fucking minivan or whatever, and like he's getting chased down, and like all his shit gets broken, and it's like this car can fly, but it's broken right now, and he's like, what does work? The AC.
Yeah. The AC is the only thing that works.
Yeah, that scene was really fucking cool.
That scene was cool. They ended it really shitty though. I feel like that was such a cop out where he drills through the ground.
Oh, right. I thought you meant when the Winter Soldier shows up.
No, that's cool.
That's the first time you see the Winter Soldier, and he just looks like fucking cool, and like the music blares, and it's like, wee! The music in this movie is also really fucking kick ass.
Yeah, it's much better than Thor.
Yeah,
much better than that like comedy drama in Thor, you know.
Just fucking kick ass. Kick ass.
Super good. But yeah, so this one's just pretty much about like Hydra is taking over Shield, and Nick Fury has to shut it down. He's got to destroy Shield and everybody's like, "Yeah, Nick, you gotta like get out of here because now you're dead." Which is weird because in this movie he dies, but not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, dude, he's a Skrull. He's definitely a Skrull." Because he comes back at the end of the movie, and I'm like, yeah, they just killed the Skrull and brought another one down to replace him. But then they're like, oh yeah, they gave me a drug that puts my heartbeat at 1 beat per minute, which you're still dead, by the way, at 1 beat per minute. There's no way you're surviving. Um, but it's
Comic books,
pretty,
you know.
yeah, comic books. But I'm like, it could have been it could be a Skrull, just.
Yeah, because like Natasha gets shot in the shoulder, and they're
Mhm.
like, we need to find someone to save her. She's bleeding out, and then like it's the Agent
Agent
Hill
Agent Hill, yeah.
like shows up, and she's like, I know someone who can help.
It's really weird that like the message that Fury gives Captain America is like don't trust anybody, and then like two
You
seconds
can trust
later
these people, yeah.
2 seconds later, what's her face busts in, Sharon busts in, and it's just like I'll deal with Fury. You go after the shooter, and he's like okay, and he just runs out, and he's like, what happened to don't trust anybody? And then also Nick Fury has like the foresight to trust the medical people
Maybe
that are taking care of him.
it was
also,
just that one guy, and the guy that was there is one of the directors of the movie. Uh, it was Joe or Anthony Russo, one of the
oh
brothers.
gosh, one of the brothers. Yeah, and that's just kind of funny to me that like somehow
Yeah,
Nick Fury set up his own, medical procedure to be saved by somebody that he does trust within Shield. That's just kind of a funny little
yeah,
thing.
because they were setting that all up, like don't trust anyone, which I think it was cool because the whole time you're thinking like, oh, Natasha's gonna flip and like
Right.
be
Right.
bad,
Yeah.
but that doesn't happen, and it's like a nice reverse of the reverse, like you expect one thing and then it doesn't happen, and you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also kind of expect it from Sam too, because you're like, oh, you can't trust Sam, or you can't trust anyone. And then he goes to Sam,
Mhm.
but then
And
he
then
turns
Sam
out,
ends up pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Turns out to be a fucking superhero himself, just retired, who wants to get back in the game, I guess.
yeah. Well, I mean, if he's with Cap,
Right. And then also like he has the wingsuit constantly, right? He always has the wingsuit. So they
think so.
stole it. Well, I mean, in the next movies, they stole it, and he still has the wingsuit. So the government never went after him for having his wings,
No,
for stealing back the wings.
no, because Cap is gonna be like, bruh, let him go. I'm Cap.
I'm Cap. He's fine. He's saving the world.
Like he's one of us. He's cool. Like no worries. He helped us take down Shield. It's all good.
I do like that line that he says, where he's like, he says something. They're like, we need information, and he like hands them a folder. She's like, how do you know this information? And he hands him a folder, and she's like, what is this? And he's like, consider it a resume or something like that. And it was like,
Yeah.
damn, he wants to be on the team already.
Yeah, and he was cool. He
Yeah.
got on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot that they introduced in this movie. Like for one, just the fact that they're like Shield, it's a bad place now. It's not a thing anymore. Like I wouldn't have expected that. And then they're like, here's Sam, here's Bucky as the Winter Soldier. Here's more
Mhm.
Natasha. It's probably the most Natasha we've seen in any of the movies.
Yeah, well, that or Iron Man 2, there's quite a bit of Natasha, but she wasn't like fighting or anything. She was
I mean, she
an
did.
assistant for like half of it, and then Natasha for the rest of it.
She did fight at the end. She had that cool scene at the
Yeah.
end. But yeah, this
So-
one felt like, like almost like a buddy cop movie between Cap and her,
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of did.
Yeah.
So I've got 10 interesting facts pulled
Oh,
up
okay. Give it to me.
okay, about this movie. So number one, Anthony Mackie's appearance in this film fulfills his dream of playing a Marvel comic book character. Whose dream isn't that?
I know, what
he
the
wrote
fuck?
he wrote a series of emails, pleas to Marvel wanting to play any comic book character that would appear on film. Though the studio repeatedly replied to him that they will respond in due time. Mackey's emails caught attention of Kevin Feige, who subsequently offered him the role of Falcon. Kind of cool. I'll skip. Well, this one's fine. This one's kind of like we know that in hindsight. When helicarriers look for their targets on one of the monitors, there is a wireframe model of formerly Stark Tower in New York, now sporting the Avengers sign. So this was before the Avengers technically had a tower.
I thought we saw him building that at the end.
Well, no, that was
Avengers.
Oh, I guess you're right. We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
He was rebuilding, and okay. Nick Fury relates a story of his grandfather being an elevator operator. Remember that part? And you're like, I don't understand this. In real life, Samuel L. Jackson's grandfather was an elevator operator.
See, like, I didn't mind the story. The story was fine. What I didn't understand was they were standing in the elevator. Cap goes, they used to play music in these things. And then Sam Jackson says, my grandpa used to operate elevators. And it was like, what the fuck? What kind of transition is that?
There was also some other transition to it. But it was essentially just like, this is why I don't trust people, because they wanted to steal his tips when he went home. It was kind of poor, but
it's just weird.
Was whatever. It was a scene. Number 4, the Falcon's flight gear sports a Stark Industries logo. This indicates that they're the manufacturer. So that's also probably how he still has his wings.
Well, yeah, I imagine Stark and his crew probably upgrade them for him in the future. Which also, why not just give that man a fucking Iron Man suit? Why does he need wings? Especially when he becomes fucking Captain America later on. Just give him an Iron Man suit. What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. But then it would be off balance. He wouldn't know how to. He's like professional at the wings.
Off balance, on balance, doesn't matter. Sorry, I had to go into my Macho Man there. Anyway,
there's a brief mention of a Canadian agency called Department H by Natasha Romanoff, which was the organization that experimented on Wolverine and gave him his adamantium bonded skeleton in the Marvel comics. In addition, it is the organization that created the Canadian superhero team Alpha Flight. That's kind of cool. The elevator fight with the strike team attempting to take Cap prisoner is a homage to the Civil War story arc when Cap refuses to participate in the government's plan to register all superheroes, and S.H.I.E.L.D. attempts to take him prisoner.
Don't they mention Stephen Strange as well in this movie?
They sure do.
Which was fucking weird. They're like, everyone important, like Stephen Strange. And it was like, what? I imagine that was like the Russos didn't know they were working on a Doctor Strange movie eventually. So they were just like, here's a fun little Easter egg. And then they're like, oh shit, we weren't expecting Marvel to actually make a Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, like this, he's not really a threat now. Like, he becomes a threat, but it's a little early to say he's a threat.
Well, because Doctor Strange he'd just be a doctor at this point.
He would just be a doctor, yeah. He'd be a neurosurgeon, yeah. Yeah. Maybe that he's one of those guys. He's like super, and they just know about it. Who knows?
I imagine it was just like an Easter egg that they wanted to throw in, and they're
like, oh, we did a movie anyway. I mean, you're gonna have that anyway. When the helicarriers are revealed for the first time, Fury mentions to Captain America that Stark insisted on making some changes to the propulsion system. In Avengers, Iron Man struggled to restart the damaged propeller-based engines of an earlier generation helicarrier. The new helicarrier seems to use jet or repulsor technology instead of propellers to create lift. So they use jets instead of propellers. That's kind of cool to know that.
Dude, how cool was that scene when he goes like he jumps out of the elevator, right? And he lands on his thing, and then he gets on his
shield.
And then he gets on his fucking bike, and there's the plane like trying to stop him. And then he like throws the shield into the propeller and shit, and like jumps up there. Like, that shit was so cool.
He takes down an entire like combat helicopter by himself.
That shit was so awesome, man.
It's really cool. 2 more. Cap's new costume takes cues from the super soldier outfit he wore when he served as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comics. That's cool.
It's a good looking suit. I liked it.
It is. When asked why Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, or any of the other Avengers weren't called to help Cap or Black Widow in the film, the screenwriters explained that the movie only takes place in about 3 days. Therefore, the characters didn't have a chance to contact them. I feel like you'd be able to contact them in 3 days anyway.
Yeah, but at the same time, can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Not even Tony.
There's a few more, but
although you see, I'm sure you could. You would think Tony would be the one to call, because it's like, hey, we found out who killed your dad. Like, they see that. Remember, they like see the documents that are like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Shield
or
fucking killed your dad.
Or like, hey, Shield's got these helicarriers. How do we turn them off?
Yeah.
There's like, gotta be something.
You'd probably, but like, I mean, like, that's why you could trust Tony, because it's like, they killed your dad, dude. Like, come help us out.
Right. Yeah.
Last one?
I don't know, I guess. Let's see. The mall shopping center in which Black Widow and Captain America visit in order to find the origin of encrypted USB stick is called the Tower City Center in Cleveland, Ohio. The front of the building and its concourse were used in Avengers as the opera hall in which Loki confronts German opera patrons. So they just keep going to Ohio and filming on this fucking.
That's a good scene too.
Yeah.
In Avengers. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say some shit. I forget. I lost it.
Haley Atwell was aged using computer-generated imagery for her appearance as elderly Peggy Carter. Anthony Russo commented that all the old people have looked the same in movies since the 80s when you go down to the makeup route. We changed her face and her muscle structure and all of those things that change when you age. That's kind of interesting.
She looked weird though.
Yeah.
She looked weird.
It wasn't too bad though. I'm not sure.
What I was gonna say was in that Apple store, that was the guy from Derek Comedy. The guy with the beard. That's a fun fact.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, fun little fact. And apparently, he was also the guy that was doing like the Apple commercials at the time. So like it was just like a reference to the actual Apple commercials. So
I did not catch that.
There you go.
So here's our list if you want to.
Yeah. So at number 1, we've got Loki. At number 2, we've got Iron Man. At number 3, we've got Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. At number 4, we've got WandaVision. At number 5, we've got Captain America, the First Avenger. At number 6, The Avengers. At number 7, Black Widow. At number 8, Falcon Winter Soldier. At number 9, Iron Man 3. At number 10, Iron Man 2. At number 11, Incredible Hulk. At number 12, Thor, The Dark World. At number 13, Thor. What do you think?
Not doing too good.
What do you think?
I'm thinking right here.
I knew you were going to say that. And
really?
I knew this was going to be an issue because I think it should be right below WandaVision. But I knew you were going to say 4. I knew it.
I can see it below WandaVision, but I feel like WandaVision suffers from the same issue that this does, where it's really good until the final act.
But I still think like the final act of WandaVision was more entertaining and better than this movie. And I feel like WandaVision just in the whole was better.
Just we got better idea just in general. Yeah.
And that's not to say I don't like this movie, because I actually like this movie a lot. It's really high up on the list.
Right.
I just feel like the final act of this movie, and there's also just some weird stuff that I'm like, where WandaVision, I feel like on the whole is like really, really fucking good. I don't know, like all the
it's pretty good. Yeah, I enjoy WandaVision a whole lot, and I think I agree with you because it is more interesting. WandaVision is more interesting. It does some different things. But that third act in WandaVision just has me like...
And this movie nails the espionage, like it does. But I think WandaVision's more interesting than an espionage. It's like WandaVision's better than Mission Impossible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just different, you know? It's a different
Yeah, yeah.
it's so unique in its own way.
And
It's
that is
definitely better than Captain America the first
oh
Avenger,
yeah,
though.
and
So
that is something I will say about this movie is like it feels so different from all of the other MCU movies. You know, like it
all
feels
of the ones up to this point, for sure. Not including Shang-Chi and
well, I even think those
Loki.
I even think like those shows like it just feels like its own thing. Like it feels much darker and than those things. Like I feel like a lot of the Marvel movies going forward are very lighthearted and very kind of jokey, where this movie was kind of serious and like there were some jokes, but I feel like it was very serious in tone.
Yeah.
That is another issue with this movie, though. I feel like a lot of the jokes in this movie just like don't land very well.
I
'Cause
can't think of
there
I
are some
can't think
jokes
of
that
jokes in there.
I can't think of any either, but I remember thinking that as I was watching. I'm like, it's
Yeah, so we'll
but
put it here because I agree.
oh, okay. I thought that was going to be more of an argument. I thought we were going to have to rock paper scissors it.
No, I agree because WandaVision is just a more interesting um idea.
Well, and I just
than
think of like all the stuff between Wanda and Vision, like that stuff is just man, like the flashbacks are man, it's just a really good show. Like it's really fucking good.
It sure is. It really is. Yeah, like I enjoyed WandaVision up until the last two episodes. Up until the last episode, I think, and then I was just kind of like,
Second to last one is like my favorite episode.
yeah, they introduced so much though, and I'm like, how are they gonna do anything with these? And then they don't do anything with them.
What do you
know?
mean? What do you mean?
Like they introduce White Vision. They introduce um I think they introduce what's her face in that one too.
Agatha.
Or Agatha. They either introduce her or
That was
go deeper into what she is. And then there's the bad guy in WandaVision was also kind of like, what was his purpose? What was his motivation?
He passes the butter.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I didn't buy it, and then he shows up at the end, and I'm like, okay, sure. And he gets arrested, but Wanda's free to go. Like it just doesn't make.
Well, to be fair, we didn't even talk about the villain once the entire time we talked about Captain America and Winter Soldier. So
that is true, but the villain is Hydra.
The villain's Hydra, but the villain is fucking Robert Redford, whose name I can't even remember.
He's a bad actor or not actor. I don't know him in anything.
He was just sort of like, I don't know.
He's just a vanilla man, you know.
Yeah, it was sort of like uninteresting. He was okay. I liked the scene where it was like he burns the pins, but it's like just take the pins off, guys. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like just like grab the pins, and take them off.
Take the jacket off.
Just take the jacket off. Like,
just take the jacket off. All right, you're gonna burn me. I'll just
you
get it away from.
Take the pin off. It might burn your hand, but that's like better than your fucking heart. You know, it's like.
Or imagine like you just unbutton it and like hold it out, hold the jacket out so that it burns off of the clothes rather than.
Natasha's like, no, I'm gonna fucking burn. I'm gonna shock myself instead.
I'm not even gonna try to avoid the damage. I'm just gonna take it full force. Yeah, it's yeah. Some of this movie is kind of jank. So I think 5 is a good spot for it because it is better than the first Avenger.
Yeah, and that is the thing about this movie. As much praise as we've given this movie, there is some like janky shit about this movie, and like I don't know, like I don't know. There's a lot to be answered, and I don't know. But I will say I'm very excited for Guardians because I wonder if Guardians can take number 1. I wonder. I'm very curious. I'm excited for the rewatch because I haven't watched it in a long time.
I don't know, man. Loki was so good though.
So was Shang-Chi too. Like Shang-Chi's is a pretty high bar, I think.
I feel like Shang-Chi is also number 2. You know, I feel like
Yeah,
Iron Man and Shang-Chi are like right there.
They're
It's
pretty
just
even.
because Iron Man was first.
It's just got
that
the
it's like
seniority, yeah.
it's got
I,
it
I
has to
actually
take
agree
it.
with you because Shang-Chi was just so fucking awesome, dude.
So good.
Yeah. We'll see, though, because like I feel like on a rewatch of Guardians, we might fucking really like it. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Or we'll hate it. Or
Yeah,
we'll hate
maybe
it.
because it's like we saw Suicide Squad, which is probably the best Guardians movie we'll ever get.
Mm,
That movie's wonderful, dude. I
It's
love that.
good, but I don't.
Movies.
It's different. It's very different.
Dude, you remember when they fucking had a fight scene in a helmet? That was sick, dude.
That was the coolest fight scene.
That was sick,
Coolest
man.
shot fight scene for sure. Yeah. Oh, I will be here next week. We'll have an episode next week, but we may not have an episode the week after because I'm going to Disneyland
Right.
for a whole week. So
Are you gonna be gone on Monday too?
I will be gone on Monday.
Oh.
That is the day I will be in Disneyland. So
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try and find a co-host.
yeah, you can go for it. I'll still watch it.
Sweet, sweet man.
Because what it'll be it'll be what's the next movie? Not the next movie, but the movie after that.
Guardians and then Avengers.
Shit, it's Ultron.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
We'll take a
That's
week
fine.
off before Avengers. This is a good place to take a week off, I think.
I suppose.
Build,
Yeah, we
build the
can take it
hype.
off.
Build the hype.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Or you could go through all of What If, and you can be like, "This sucks," and talk about that by yourself.
I might do that. Yeah.
Um,
I'll
Yeah,
bring
so-
Austin on to talk about What If.
there you go.
He's a collider man now. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. Yeah, that's the Lonercast MCU countdown. That's what I'm gonna call it. Lonercast MCU countdown. Thanks for watching. Check out our shit. We got shit up the butt.
that's where it
Around-
belongs.
Well, yes. Up the butt, out the butt, around the butt. Just we got it all over
On
the place.
balance, off balance, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Right back
All right.
right back to Macho Man.
All right.